Row 2 to the inside, the 4A is Brian Siebold. To Brian's outside, the 59X from Emerson is Hans Hofick. Row 3 to the inside, the TNT2, that's the white TNT of Devin Tripp. To Devin's outside, the 44X of Jason Speed Schneiders. Row 3 to the inside, the Big Banana, the 30 of Travis Barker. And to his outside from Orange City, the 5E of Mel Ellsbury. 8 cars, 8 laps to distance, heat race number 1 for your B&B Contracting IMCA Stock Cars. Into turn 4. Josh waves the green flag. Everybody hops on the gas. Here we go. Nate DeSieve going to lead the field off of turn number 2. With the 10T, Gage Thomas and Brian Siebold running second and third. Tripp and Hofick, your top 5, with Travis Barker working the bottom of the speedway. Mel Ellsbury to the outside. 3 wide for second as they come down the front stretch. Rolling down Broadway into turns 1 and 2. It is Nate DeSieve, your leader. Brian Siebold second. Gage Thomas working the outside. Hans Hofick up the middle. They're going to try to make it 3 wide one more time. Not quite. Nate DeSieve leads. Brian Siebold on the bottom. Gage Thomas outside. 3 wide off turn 2. Devin Tripp in that white TNT car working the bottom side of the speedway is up top. It is still Nate DeSieve, but here comes Brian Siebold on the rest of the field. Like Noah loading the arc, they go 2 by 2 down the backstretch with Brian Siebold and Nate DeSieve. Your top 2 cars off turn 4, it's still DeSieve. Siebold, now Gage Thomas, I see your 2, let's make it 3 wide down Broadway to turn number 1. They're going to stay 3 wide off turn 2 as well, and down the backstretch as Travis Barker shoots the gap up the middle around Tripp and trying to get to the inside of Hofick. Gage Thomas on the bottom in the 10T, but out front it's all Nate DeSieve in the 31K. DeSieve leads, Siebold second, side by side for third with Hans Hofick and Gage Thomas. Travis Barker in the 5th spot, battling the TNT2 of Devin Tripp. Barker now comes down the hill. He'll try to take over that 5th spot and get around Thomas for 4th as well. As your field thunders off into turns 1 and 2, it's DeSieve, Siebold, Hofick, Thomas, Barker, Tripp and Ellsbury side by side as Travis Barker continues to push the cushion down top side of the speedway. But out front, 1 to go for Nate DeSieve. DeSieve leads, Siebold second, Hans Hofick up the inside, trying to take that runner-up spot ahead of Gage Thomas and Travis Barker. Checkered flag is ready to fly. Your heat race winner is the 31K of Nate DeSieve. Brian Siebold, Hans Hofick, Gage Thomas, and Travis Barker, your top 5. Lots of great two wide action throughout, sometimes 3 wide around the speedway, as heat race number 1 in the books for your B&B Contracting IMCA Stock Cars. Ryan Harris's 49 car looking all kinds of sharp this year. We will go green this time by Greg Taylor, Ryan Harris, your front row. Green flag waves. We're back to racing here in heat race number 2. Ryan Harris on the bottom of the speedway. Not quite low enough though as Greg Taylor tries to get to that inside line. Harris and Taylor side by side for the race lead. Tim Gonska and Chad Tenapel side by side for third. At the line it'll be Ryan Harris. Harris will take that top spot. Greg Taylor trying to get to the inside once again, but can't quite make it stick. Tim Gonska now third, Chad Tenapel fourth. Harris continues to work the top of the speedway. Taylor continues to work down low, but that's going to open the door for Tim Gonska in the 5G. Gonska going to cross over Taylor, come down the hill, move Tim Gonska to second momentarily. Taylor going to fight back on the outside as everybody moving up a little bit here in heat race number 2. Look out, Chad Tenapel got a little tail happy there at 3 and 4. Going to cost him a couple of spots as the 20 car will fall to the tail of the field. Meanwhile, off turn 2, your race leader is Ryan Harris in the 49. He's got the 5G of Tim Gonska all over him. Here comes Greg Taylor up the inside. Down the hill they go. It's still Ryan Harris, your leader, off 4. Harris leads. Gonska trying to find a way around the 49 car. Greg Taylor in third. They've separated themselves from Jeff Thomas and Tyler Steckelberg running 4th and 5th. They're side by side for position as Harris clicks off another lap up front. Your top 3 cars nose to tail down the backstretch. Thomas and Steckelberg side by side with Roger Tripp all together for that 4 spot. Is off turn 4. Once again, Tim Gonska looks to the inside of Ryan Harris but can't quite complete the pass. As your leaders go off into turn 1, Gonska to the outside of Harris but can't complete the pass. Harris running a good line through 3 and 4 up top. Greg Taylor down the bottom. Look out, they're going to cross. Try to get crossed up there in 4 as Harris leads at the white flag. Tim Gonska and Greg Taylor side by side. Gonska to the outside trying to complete the pass around Harris for second, but Harris has gone to the top the last few times through 3 and 4. Gonska trying to find an opening. Taylor comes down the hill. Checkered flag will wave. Ryan Harris, your winner. Second to Tim Gonska. Third to Greg Taylor. Off of turn 4, Jeff Thomas, Tyler Steckelberg, Roger Tripp, Chad Tenaple will round out the field as Chuck Ross pulled off on the final lap. Great 3-way battle at the front of the field with Ryan Harris, Tim Gonska, and Greg Taylor, with Ryan Harris picking up the win in the 49. This time by the flag stand will be your parade lap. So if you've got that favorite driver, get up on your feet, stomp your feet, wave your hands a little bit. Might help warm you up, and cheer on your favorite drivers. We're set to go 20 laps of feature racing. Once again, Tim Gonska, Gage Thomas, your front row. Greg Taylor, Ryan Harris, row number 2. 20 laps the distance. B&B Contracting, IMCA Stock Cars goes under the green flag. Here we go. Tim Gonska was awful fast in his heat race. He's starting on the pole and takes the race lead, brings Greg Taylor in tow. DeSivey and Harris side by side for that runner-up, or the 3rd spot. But up front, it is Tim Gonska in the 5G. 2 and 3 wide back in the pack. As Taylor on the bottom races around Gonska for the race lead. Move Greg Taylor to P1. Ryan Harris now 3rd. 4th is the side-by-side battle with Thomas and DeSivey. Gonska trying to make that top line work in 1 and 2, but Greg Taylor too strong on the bottom. Travis Barker, first one to venture up to the top side of the speedway. Ryan Harris got a little sideways, opened the door for Thomas, but he could not complete the pass. Back in the pack, some 2 and 3 wide racing for position as Travis Barker looks around Hans Hofik for 6th. Ryan Harris now tries that top side in 3 and 4 as Gage Thomas showing some right side damage. He's got a bat wing out the side of that deal, probably like a parachute. Might hamper the performance on the 10 car, but he does take the 3rd spot. Ryan Harris way high in 3 and 4. He's going to lose a couple of positions on the speedway. Greg Taylor, Tim Gonska, your top 2. Now Gage Thomas in the 3rd spot, Nate DeSivey in the 31K. Look out, a little bit of rubbing back in the pack. Ryan Harris into the infield. Harris into the infield in the 49. He'll get that car refired and join the race right in front of your leaders. As we'll have caution. So a pretty rough couple laps for Ryan Harris. Was battling for that 3rd spot and then got high off the corner, lost a couple spots, and then looped it around there at the bottom of turn 4. If you're watching on Advantage Racing TV, Barker and Hofik did a little rubbing. Looks like Harris really had nowhere to go. Different angles. Hofik pushed up. Barker crossed over and kind of slammed the door on Harris. Didn't have any real place to get out of the way, so did not make more contact. Spun it to the infield. Tim Gonska chose the inside. Gage Thomas on the outside. You get a chance, the right side of that 10 car showing some sheet metal damage, kind of sticking out there in the breeze. Nate DeSivey and Hans Hovick round out your top 5 as the pace picks up. We go back to green flag racing. 6 down, 14 to go. DeSivey catches the bite off the bottom of turn 2. He'll take the 4 spot, trying to get around Gage Thomas for 3rd. As your leader continues to be Greg Taylor, but now Tim Gonska looks to the inside. Everybody throwing elbows, trying to get to the bottom of the speedway. As Travis Barker trying to work into the top 5 around Hans Hovick for 5th. As out front, it's Greg Taylor in the 55 JR. Gage Thomas took a quick peek to the inside of Gonska for 2nd, as Travis Barker now up to 4th. Everybody rubbing the hub down to the inside of the speedway. Nate DeSivey got high off turns 1 and 2, loses 4 spots. Look out, cars around in 3 and 4. We got a parking lot. As Tim Gonska up there, Travis Barker. A couple other cars slow to avoid. I do believe the 5 of Gonska's right rear is off the ground after contact with another car. Travis Barker showing heavy right side damage. The right side of that 30 car is hammered. If you are tuned in on Advantage Racing TV, we can get a replay. The 5G of Gonska just lost it out by his lonesome on the front stretch, or entering turn 3. Thomas had nowhere to go. Barker got up into the wall. You have to think something broke under the 5 of Gonska because he just looped it around right there entering the corner. Travis Barker made pretty heavy contact with the wall as well. Not sure if the folks from Advantage can show that replay one more time, but it looked like Barker hit the wall hard enough he knocked a chunk of it off. Gonska goes around. Might have just been sparks off the back of that 30 car, but he hit the wall a ton right there below the light pole in turn 3. They've got the 5 car of Gonska picked up off of the other machine. I believe, is that possibly the 20 of Chad Tenaple? I can't make out the other car from the angle we're at here. Pace picks up, a little bit of rubbing back in the pack, but everybody keeps her straight. We stay green down the front stretch with Greg Taylor out front. Hans Hovick in that 2nd spot, Gage Thomas 3rd. Tyler Steckelberg and Brian Siebold now up inside the top 5. Halfway home this time, 10 down with 10 to go. Brian Siebold a little loose off turn 2. That's going to open up the 4th spot. Look out, Siebold charges it in there, but holds on to 5th. As the TNT2 of Devin Tripp got by. You got to give him a tip of the cap. Travis Barker is a cowboy. Back on here, heavy right side damage. He's still slicing and dicing, trying to get up into the front of the field. Trying to get around Ryan Harris now off turn 4. Will get by Ellsbury and try to get by Schneider as well. Barker wadded it up in 3 and 4. Now he's knocking on the door of the top. He's inside the top 10, knocking on the door of the top 5. But out front, Greg Taylor, smooth as glass, holds on to that race lead. Hans Hovick 2nd, Gage Thomas, Brian Siebold and the TNT2 of Devin Tripp rounding out your top 5. Barker and Harris have been joined at the wheel for about 3 laps now. As Ryan Harris comes off turn 4, he'll take that spot. Tripp around Siebold for the 4th spot as the TNT2 moves back to 4th. It's Greg Taylor, Hans Hofick, Gage Thomas, and Devin Tripp your top 5. As Travis Barker and Ryan Harris continue to battle for position. Nate DeSivey moves into the top 5. Brian Siebold trying to make that top line work. Look out, Siebold goes around the bottom of 3 and 4. He stays on the gas trying to find an opening to get pointed in the right direction. But we will have caution for the 4A of Siebold. Siebold running the bottom of the speedway, just kind of looped around there at the bottom of the track. Looks like the T11 went around as well. So 16 laps are scored complete, 16 down, 4 to go. Greg Taylor, your leader. He's been out front the whole way in the 55 JR. Hans Hofick, Devin Tripp, Nate DeSivey, Tyler Steckelberger, your top 5. Back to green flag we go. Hofick pushes way up the track. That's going to allow Tripp to get by. Move Devin Tripp up to 2nd. Nate DeSivey trying to take that 3rd spot from Hofick as well. Now, we were talking about it moments ago. Travis Barker inside the top 5. DeSivey pushes up. Something breaks under the 31. Flat right front on the 31K. 31K with a flat right front. Rolling to a stop here on the front stretch. Trying to get him into the infield. As Greg Taylor comes off turn 4, is your leader. Car around in 3 and 4. Do believe that's the 10 of Gage Thomas. Brian Siebold spins to avoid, and we have caution. Caution for the 10 of Gage Thomas. Travis Barker, Tyler Steckelberg, Devin Tripp is your top 5. Through turns 3 and 4, we've got a green-white checkered finish. This is fixing to get good as the pace picks up. Green flag is out. Here we go. Travis Barker takes 2nd right away. Greg Taylor, your leader. Barker looks to the inside. They're going to separate from Hofick and the battle for the rest of the way back through the pack. Taylor pushes up. Here comes Travis Barker. White flag in the air. Taylor's got him at the line, but Barker's right there at the quarter panel. Barker inside, Taylor outside. Couple cars battling for position back in the pack, but Travis Barker's got one last chance to make a move. Taylor slides up. Barker trying to cross over, but at the line, it's going to be Greg Taylor. Whale of a run for Travis Barker to get back up to 2nd. Hans Hofick 3rd, Tyler Steckelberg 4th, and Roger Tripp rounding out your top 5 in the TNT machine. Heck of a run for Travis Barker to get up to 2nd, but Greg Taylor, steady Eddie at the front of the field, doing what he needed to do. Not sure if he knows what kind of pandemonium went on behind him, but a heck of a run for Greg Taylor, picking up the feature win in the 55 JR here in the B&B Contracting IMCA Stock Car Division.
Greg Taylor ready to hop out of that Q and Feather number 55 Junior Stock Car. Let's have a round of applause for Greg Taylor. Led pretty much the whole race, ran a smooth race. What'd you think?
It was fun.
Did you know that 30 car was right on your tail at the end?
I figured he'd be there.
He was there. He had a good race, held him off. Congratulations.